I'm Mark DiBenedetto. I'm the head of showrooms for Robert Allen. Very importantly, we're delighted you're here. Maggie Milford is director of our flagship showroom here. She's going to introduce our panel today, and we want to thank you for helping us celebrate our 75th anniversary.
I think for everybody, 2008 was a big game changer. So it's not just doing new and different things like TV or product development, but it's also just continuing to be a designer and changing the way you work with your clients.
Sure.
So, back when I started my business, everybody was sort of doing design the same way and billing the same way, and there wasn't the level of transparency that there is now. And there was a whole lot more mystique around being a designer, and people felt like they really needed us way more than they do now. They still really, really need us. They just don't think they do. So,
You've done really well with changing that because
So
now
I
you
have.
throw the ball in their court.
well, with certain, before I was very, this is the way it's done, and people just said okay. Now I can no longer go into a meeting and just say this is the way it's done. I have to be flexible. I think we all have to be flexible. So the way that I work with, client A is not the same the way that I work with client B. It's vastly different from job to job. But one thing that I've been doing, which it only works with certain clients, but I kind of put on the hat of consultant, and these clients pay me a fairly sizable fee at the beginning of the job, but to sort of be their guide and to give them the nod of approval and to say you are doing it the right way, or you're about to make a mistake, don't do that. And they'll pay me for my advice, they pay me for my expertise, they pay me for my years of know-how and experience, but I make them do a lot of the work,
That's not a bad thing.
which is great.
Change
So,
that now.
I'm not having to purchase everything. I will connect them with a lot of my sources, and I have amazing relationships with my vendors, which really allows me to do this. So I can say, go see somebody at
Robert Allen.
Thank you. Yeah, or I'm searching for the name Jackie. Actually,
So yeah,
go see Jackie at Robert Allen. Actually, Jackie has done this for me, where I'll say, go see Jackie. She'll help you. And were it not for the amazing relationship that Jordana and I have with Jackie, I wouldn't be able to do this. But we've spent so much time and energy really investing in our relationships with our vendors that they will, they'll be, I can say, please help my client without me being there. The client does a lot of the legwork. They run around the D&D. They look for things they like. They bring it to me and I say yes, yes, no. Definitely no, yes. And it saves me a lot of time. I'm not making as much money on that job, but I'm not nearly putting in the amount of time.
My game-changing moment came from overcoming the meltdown of 2008 and then getting out of my own way in terms of the damage that the meltdown in 2008 did to me emotionally as far as being a professional and succeeding beyond the odds.
Do you have someone that does it for you, or do you do it all yourself? It's all your
I don't
voice
trust
too.
anybody else to speak for me.
Okay.
So I am on Twitter a little bit, Facebook a lot. I love Facebooking. House.com, yeah. House.com, HOUZZ, has been a nice new platform for us to utilize. LinkedIn, we're on LinkedIn. Pretty much all of them. Google Plus, yeah, we do them all.
And Jennifer, what platforms?
Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, which I love. That's pretty much it. What else am I doing?
Instagram.
Oh, Instagram. Right. I don't do that very well, clearly.
Now, do you handle all of your own tweets and posts, or do you have like a publicist or an assistant who does that?
I have an amazing person, Catherine, right back there. Helps me a whole lot. But truth be told, I only just started doing all of this stuff at the beginning of this year because
So tweeting is something
it
you
really
know.
freaked me out. I did not know the first thing about doing any of this, and I was really worried about jumping in and doing it without knowing how to do it.
Okay.
So I hired Catherine to teach me. So I got the tutorial.
It's your voice.
Well, no, I mean, actually, I do all the tweeting myself. It's
Okay.
always been me. The first day I opened Twitter, I didn't know what the hell people were saying. I thought it looked like a foreign language to me. So I learned how And I actually love it. I think it's fun. I met Barbara through Twitter. So I have made friends in this community through social media.
Well, that's
and
gonna lead
it's
me to
really
the next
expanded my
question.
world. So I won't answer that question right now. I'm going to say
Yeah.
it. But I will say that I do all my own tweets, all by myself. It's all my own voice, and I think it's really important. But then Catherine actually helps me take those tweets and turn them into appropriate things for Facebook. It is a ton of work. I can't do it all myself.
I tweet my own tweets and my own Facebook messages that all come from me. Interact with followers myself.
That's good. And you? Do you do any of your posts?
I do all my Facebook posts and then my showroom. I have my best friend who's with me almost all the time. He sees what I'm doing on Facebook and reformats it into more of a business wording on my showroom page. And then tweeting I do myself.
So there's a little bit of assistance. It's a team effort.
Yes.
On social
I
media.
think it's almost impossible to do all of those things
All
and
on your
work
own.
and do press and do everything else.
On your own.
Yeah,
Now,
but you have to find somebody that can really represent you properly, and it's not easy. I mean,
Right.
The only reason this person can do it is he's one of my best friends, and he's usually with me.
yeah, so he knows you.
Yeah, and he's at the event.
I think that people are using Facebook now to kind of verify you as a person.
Oh,
So
going
make
into
sure
my
you're
next
having like
question
joint
already.
pictures of you in a profile shot because they will look at you and judge you based upon that. But I got two huge homes off of house.com, which is a new go-to remodeling home renovation site. And one was 15,000 square feet, one was 9,800 square
From
feet.
social media.
From social media. And they
All
call
right,
me
definitely have
Mary.
to find out how you qualify that person. How about you, Jennifer? Anyone from social media, a client?
I grabbed myself a client off of Facebook.
Hey, reverse it.
Yeah, so Facebook friend posted, I mean, not friend, but really Facebook friend.
Well,
that
this is a good
said
question.
to me, posted a picture of, this house that he was building in the Hamptons, so I reached out to him and I said, do you need a designer? And he said, as a matter of fact, I do. And I'm working on that project right now.
LinkedIn is a good source for that to find out what their background is. Of course, always make sure you don't log into LinkedIn. You look up a person because if you do log in and you look them up, they will be able to see that you look them up, which can be a little creepy.
That's
You want to be
okay.
creepy,
Yeah.
go on the slide. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no way for us to really know who we're dealing with. They know who we are, but we don't know who they are.
I really use Facebook exclusively for business. I'm not putting pictures of my kids up there. I'm not putting pictures of, any crazy antics from a weekend without my kids. That stuff does not go on my Facebook. It's
Do you have
all
a business
business.
page,
I
or-
do, but even my personal page, it's really all business.
It's all business.
And I think that the interesting thing that I've noticed is that my friends, my clients who are my friends on Facebook are constantly commenting on the stuff that I post. So it actually, it gives me activity.
Have you guys opted to do an advertorial, which is paid, it's basically all it is paying for an advertisement to show up in major publications, but it's stylized almost like an editorial, and it's beautifully done. I've seen it done beautifully done. But has that been a route that you guys got to take on as sort of like a legitimate way to kind of advertise yourself? A lot of magazines aren't calling all the time to get you, as a feature, so is this your way of stepping in?
I have done it.
Video or press?
I've done press. I did one last year, and I checked to see who of my colleagues had done it before I did it, and there was a really prestigious list of people.
The players.
So I thought, well, if they can do it and they're running really incredibly successful businesses, and they don't find it beneath them, or then I'm okay with it. And it was beautifully done, and it's just something else that I can show or that I can put on my website. And I don't think the one that I did was very geared towards people in real estate, so that's a good market for me.
Right.
So I was strategic about it, and it wasn't incredibly expensive. So
That was a great way to get your name out.
it was a good payoff. It's not the same, but I have been asked by some of my really good vendors to do videos for their companies. And if it's a company that I have a huge amount of respect for, and I love their product, and I feel that it doesn't diminish my brand in any way, then yes, I will do it, absolutely.
I would do it. I would.
Video and press.
Yeah, I would do both. It just depends upon the product. And how much control do I and my marketing team have over the message?
Overall.
Yeah, I mean, it's their product, obviously, but how am I going to be portrayed? What is going to be the outcome of the actual project? And as long as it's on the up and up and it's respectable, why not?
And change the game for you, whether it's financial or not, to become a designer celebrity. We'll start with you, Corey.
Yes.
Especially since you've all been on TV.
Yeah, I mean,
You've all been on
absolutely.
TV already.
Yeah, I mean, I love television. We're filming right now, so I'm hoping to return shortly. We'll see how things work out. But I think that people have a huge interest, a vested interest in interior design, and that's been buoyed by by the networks that we're with, Home Garden Television and DIY. And I think the main thing is again that the message is good. I know that I know Bravo had $1 Million decorators. That was a hit for some people.
I'm addicted.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a matter of how does the message resonate with the viewers? Does it impact or damage my business model after the show airs? I'm not going to.
But you're already going to my next question.
Yeah, I got to just make sure it stays balanced, and absolutely, I think it's a great avenue.
And do you want to be titled designer celebrity?
I don't know about that title, but I would love a licensing deal.
You're right, a little couple endorsements.
Yeah, and I think it's great because I think we're in the field all day with clients all day. We know what they're picking, what they like, and the colors, and we're out there being active. And I think if you can bring that information and benefit fabric line and yourself, I think that's amazing.
Win-win.
Yeah.
Jennifer? I think I know your answer, right?
Yeah.
Right, corporate and all.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you that the TV, so doing the show that I did for HGTV was one of the best experiences
Real
I've had.
Designing Women.
And Real Designing Women,
In Canada.
aired in Canada this summer. I can't tell you that just to say I was part of that show has a huge cachet. People haven't even seen the show and they're falling over themselves because of it. So I would do another show in a heartbeat. Plus I enjoyed it, so if I didn't like it, I wouldn't be running back. But yes, I mean I think that there's very little out there that is as big as TV or video.
Now, did you get paid from it? Is the real question.
Very little,
Okay.
but
But it was exposure.
it was exposure. For me, it was the first time I've done anything like this. I mean, really, my first day filming was the very first day I ever filmed anything. So it was a brand new game for me, and I loved it.
Corey?
Yeah.
I think HGTV was very lucrative for my firm and myself. With Michigan, again, reemerging from that economic meltdown, a lot of designers were out of work. A lot of designers moved out of the state. But for those who remained behind, there were just less jobs to get because those who were wealthy were just kind of pinching their pennies still. And one way that they were using to kind of qualify designers when they were interviewing them was looking at their portfolios, looking at their websites, looking at their bios. When you say you've done national televised work, I'm sorry, it just sets you into I'm not saying it sets you above,
Well,
it sets
ups
you
the game
apart.
a little bit.
Yeah, it just kind of puts you into a different category. Doesn't mean necessarily good. I think some very bad design on television too.
Oh, so did Stephen Wonder.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just sitting, you're like, really? No, I
Yeah,
get it.
so I mean, there's something definitely to be said for getting that exposure on HG or any other television series. It qualifies you in a way. So it shows that clients can trust your work because obviously a major network is already trusted in you.
Now, what's the ROI? Did you get bank from it? Did you get clients? Yeah.
We got, again, that came as a result of projects coming our way because the clients want to kind of brag and tell their next door neighbors, their next door, Bloomfield Hills housewife.
Yeah.
My designer was on, HGTV, so it does. Okay.
I've experienced that with show houses. I've seen many designers say the same thing to their clients because they saw the work in show houses. Did you find the same experience?
I had a great experience this summer with Show House. It was the first one I ever did, and it was Hampton's Cottages and Gardens, and it was a very small room, and I almost was like, I'm not taking that room. And then I thought, well, why don't I take that room and show them what that room could be? And I put a really, really eclectic, funky, one of my own wallpapers in there. And now I go to a lot of places in the Hamptons, and people say, oh, I know who you are, I know who you are. I think it gives you credibility. I also used it as a way to express more authenticity for myself of what something I would want to do in my own house versus what I do in my clients' houses. As far as return, I would say more that I met a lot more people knew who I was from doing it. It didn't translate directly into sales, but I do have somebody now interested in picking up my wallpaper line. So
There is press on it, so it
Yes.
does get into the magazine.
absolutely, and credibility. People now think because
That's
you did
the
that show
company.
house that you have been selected as one of the top people in your industry. I would say.
You know, but interestingly though, Tamara contacted me before she decided to do that show house because I've done them before out there.
Okay.
And I said to her, only do it if you have a product to push. Because
Makes
it is
sense.
so much work,
That's
it's
true.
so expensive, it takes so much time. You know, the way that you did it was the smart way. Getting a small room is not a bad thing.
No, it was
You know, you can really just max it out and make it really
Make
something
it your own,
special
own it.
and, you know, throw a lot into it, you know, for much less investment.
Yeah.
But I am telling you, the only show houses I would ever do going forward would be Kips Bay because it's just so prestigious. Or, you know, if the Ronald McDonald House thing came along again, I would do that because it's charity related, but that's it.
You have your picking.
I mean, it's just, or again, if I had product, you know, at that time to push, I would definitely consider it. But the rest of it, it's a lot of work.
And
It's very expensive.
So do you have a plan B if you're opting not to continue to do this?
I actually really love this business.
You're gonna make
I-
it work regardless.
I don't think that you can successfully do this without having a passion for it because it's just too hard. It's a lot of work. It's constant struggle with clients and getting things done. And, you know, I think unless you're in the business, you don't understand what you have to put in. So you have to have a real love, you know, for design and beautiful things. And, you know, I never put it to bed. You know, I could be on vacation and I'm looking for, you know, I'm looking at beautiful things or I'm
Can't turn it off.
shopping. I don't turn it off.
Yeah, you can't
I
turn it
don't.
off.
Or, you know, I could be on the beach and the color of the ocean is what I want to do for, you know, someone's bedroom. So there's inspiration everywhere. I never shut it down. So I don't have a plan B, but my plan A is going to get really big.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
yeah.
There you go. And
There is no plan B for me because this is here. You can't take it from me. So I can't say I'll never lose a job. I'll never be unemployed. But the difference between what I'm doing now and what I used to do as far as working for a commercial firm is that you had power in other people's hands that could change your destiny and manipulate your outcome. Now I'm working for myself. I have my own firm. Now I have a staff. And I can control what we do. So this is my plan B and my plan A.
there you
And my
go.
plan
See?
Z and
Yeah.
exactly. So
Keep it going.
yeah.
All right.
I think I'll always do interior design because I think it really keeps me fresh and my creativity with my clients really motivate me, but I am really interested in product. I'm in love with product and I'm doing it in countries helping women artisans develop their own craft, and that's really fulfilling for me. So I think doing all of those things, I don't know which one's going to come to the top, but I think they all affect each other and they all right now are necessary for me to do together. So we'll see.
What advice can you share with everyone today on changing things up to become a better player in this game?
I think it's just a basic rolling with the punches and not being so steadfast in doing things one way, that you have to be flexible and, you know, constantly have your eyes open for new opportunities and new things and just sort of a new way of doing things. So it's just sort of that, you know, just keeping actively involved in what's out there and meeting new people and listening to other designers and hearing what they have to say and how they're doing it. Every time I go to an event in this building, I meet somebody who's doing business a little bit differently than I am, and I learn something.
This is what
So
marketing's all
it's,
about.
you know, but even just the singular conversations, you know, what's your contract look like? You know, how are you billing? You know, just really unbelievable ideas. This community is an amazing community if you let yourself be a part of it. I don't honestly see other designers as competition. I see us as feeding off each other in a really positive way. So becoming more a part of this community, I think, is an essential part of continuing to just be in the game.
Great advice, Corey.
Don't be afraid to embrace social media. Have a website. I am still shocked when I tutor students at our universities locally in Michigan, how many of them are so adept at getting their websites up, and they don't have a job or portfolio
That's
yet.
hard, because that shouldn't even be a game changer, that's like.
But there are still many of us who have been in the field for 10, 15, 20 years who still don't have a website. Have a website, have business cards, go to events like this, go to market, go to High Point, go to places where your vision of design can be expanded and can be and can grow. Because if you stay just to your local circle, there's nothing wrong with that. But you may see, or like Jennifer mentioned, you may meet people that can change your world and change your attitude. It's almost like I look at design like air. I need to breathe, and I like being around other people who enjoy breathing. And so we have to kind of get outside of that comfort zone and reach out to other people, reach out to the networks on the internet, and that will, I think, be a real boon for your business.
I think we all have our own unique path in life, and I think if you're constantly looking at yourself and saying, is this what I love? Or how would I change this to be something I love more? You end up going down the path that suits you. I think we're all unique in this business. Someone may be better at color and someone's better at textiles. There's so much to what we do. I mean, there's the budget, dealing with the client relationship. Some people love textiles, and we all have our own unique way of approaching this business. And I think you succeed when you start doing it really authentically to who you are and looking for those opportunities that maybe no one's done before. Well, this is what I love, and this is how I would do it. And I think that's how you can keep changing and evolving with this business. I think as you grow, the business grows.
And we're all going to keep changing the game for ourselves because now it's becoming more and more acceptable. I mean, Mary McDonald with a cosmetic line. I mean, anyone would be planning to be a pop star? Like, it's like stuff.
I'll do Claire all that.